I'm proud of being able to have the opportunity to like even engage in that conversation. So that's really good, and I'm excited about the future of that and where that's going to go.
Hi guys, you're here with Black Excellence Bristol, and you're here acknowledging achievements and aspirations, and I'm here with the tremendous Osei Johnson. If you don't know Osei, he does a lot of work with African Caribbean Assembly, and also do a lot of acting as well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I also act, model and dance, and other stuff.
Look at all this. Wow. So all-round performer, basically.
Yeah, creative of all kinds, which is cool. Not so much writing, especially not poetry, but writing like theatre shows maybe. But yeah, all-round creative, which is fun.
And so how did you get into doing like performing arts?
I've always done acting to some extent. So when I was, I'm not sure how old I was. I'm not sure how old I was. I think I was like 10 or 11. But I performed in London when I was in school in London, in a recreation of Stephen Lawrence's murder, which could be extremely traumatic. But I was his best friend, so I spent like 2 hours just sat on my knees. And I ended up getting like a Princess Diana award for that. So that was cool. And then I sort of like fell out of it for a while. And then I got back into it, I want to say like 3-4 years ago, 2018-ish. And I started at Bristol Old Vic, which is great.
Did you study at Bristol Old Vic, did you? Or?
So I haven't actually been to like a theatre school or anything. I've just sort of like...
Just come to you naturally.
No. So I joined like random workshops at Bristol Old Vic, the theatre, who just do like workshops for younger people. I think it's ages 5 to 25. So I was doing that for like a year, and then I just finished their course called Made in Bristol, which is like for anyone after that. Like they say, people in a gap year, and I like to describe it as all things theatre, basically a crash course in theatre. But before and outside of that, I've just been like working on other stuff. So I did a short film last year with a friend of mine for New Creatives, which is on BBC iPlayer. And that is called To My Younger Self, and it's about solitary confinement. And that was like, for me personally, that was one of my best things to perform in and to do, because is hopefully the beginning of a conversation about how solitary confinement for children under the ages of 18, for anyone but children under the ages of 18 especially, is just like completely inhumane and deprives them of like all necessary factors to be able to grow into a proper normal human being. So on top of the fact that it was fun, and I got to be out in fields at like 5 o'clock in the morning, freezing. So yeah, it's always good.
Have your family been like supportive of, you know, your acting and your performance and stuff like that, and performing arts? Sorry.
I feel like they're always really supportive, but there's always those funny comments. My brother says to me whenever he sees like new pictures on my Instagram or like a modeling thing that I've done, he's like, it just looks weird because like you're just that 12-year-old kid that I know with like a snotty nose or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but like you've known me my whole life, of course.
Can't accept that you've sort of grown into this person. I get that a lot with my brother as well, because he's quite a bit older than me, and I think it's weird for him to see me like doing things like this, because there's like 8 years between us. So I think he still thinks of me as like this little kid, basically, you know.
Yeah, older siblings are interesting. I'm one of 7, and I'm...
Wow, it's a big family.
And I'm second youngest, so there's lots of them above me. But yeah, they're great sometimes. They have their moments.
And what is like your family's background, like your heritage? Is that a complicated question?
That's a very complicated question. So it's easier to just focus on me because my mum's kids are like rainbow kids, is what she calls them. But my mum is mixed race. Her granddad was from West Africa, and he came to Bristol in like the 1900s. I think it was like 1915 to be specific. He was part of the West African military division that existed at that time. So that's pretty cool and interesting to know about like that side of the history in Bristol.
So your family's been based here since 1915?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is pretty insane to me.
Yeah.
Because lots has happened in that time,
Yeah,
especially in Bristol.
Yeah.
Especially around race and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all pretty cool.
That's so interesting, 'cause I never even knew, but like there was generations of black people who were here. Like I feel like for a lot of people, our first sort of thought of early immigration in England was from like the Windrush generation and stuff. So it's interesting to hear, but like, you know, even prior to that, so it's like World War One sort of time, but they had African people coming over first.
Yeah, both my granddad and my great-granddad fought in the wars. So my great-granddad fought in World War One, and that's why he came here. And then my granddad fought in World War Two, and yeah, both of them also had like quite a wide influence on the Bristol community.
Yeah,
so I'm told.
Yeah. That's one of your like, what would you say is one of your most proud achievements thus far? You know, it could be in any field. It could be like, you know, emotionally, physically, within your performance you've been doing, or within activism you've been doing. Anything but to you seems like important, or like something something you want to tell the people. Big up yourself, you know. Or if it's a couple things. That makes it easier.
Yeah, I think that might make it easier. I'll see if I can think of something. A couple things that I'm really proud of are the short film that I did last year, that I spoke about earlier. That's really good. Check it out. It's on BBC iPlayer. And then working with Dr. Mina Fombeau, who's behind, I think, is Black Girl Con and Black Girl Magic. And Michael Jenkins on like just consulting on a black culture space. They're still working on that behind the scenes, but I'm proud of being able to have the opportunity to like even engage in that conversation. So that's really good, and I'm excited about the future of that and where that's going to go. What's
one of your like sort of goals for the future? Or have you got a few goals? 'Cause you might have a few, but something you want to like achieve maybe in the near future, or even just, you know, a life goal for you?
I want to say, like, everybody says set goals in life. I'm the complete opposite. I say the complete opposite. Never set a goal in life. I used to, as a kid, I had all of these goals, and like I could never, not like achieve them, but like it never happened. And then as soon as I stopped setting goals and just started working and being in the moment, that was when everything happened. So I feel like, for the future, the best I can say is that I want to have an effect on the community in Bristol, whether that be like just the black community or the wider community in Bristol, but have an effect on the community in Bristol and how we interact with each other, and hopefully we do it a lot more like this.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That was really, really interesting, everything you said there. I've definitely learnt a lot from you, and I hope the people at home watching this, or wherever you're watching this, I hope they get to enjoy that as well. So thank you so much for coming through and speak to us today. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. It's really fun. Yeah, it's great to have these conversations and just to get to see other black people and creatives in the city.
Yeah.
So big ups to you guys.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, definitely do this again.
Yes.